Hookman just about in the middle of the page. The line begins with the word v'his hakim boy. What we said, that ratzon is the impetus for all the functioning koiches. Even the inner koiches, the ruchnis koiches, the seichel and midas, are also ratzon initiated. This is how it is on the practical and the functioning level. When you have ratzon and you have koiches hanefesh, and the ratzon is the one that initiates and arouses the koiches hanefesh to function. We have that b'nefesh. However, in the nefesh itself, Harei, behold, ein is havas ha-koiches min ha-ratzon. In the nefesh itself, the koiches are not created from the ratzon. Koiches ha-nefesh are there because the nefesh has koiches. This is the complement of the nefesh, to have all the koiches. It is not the ratzon that creates the koiches, it is because the nefesh has koiches. The kol shekain and surely shein hoevorim his abusim in haratzon. Surely the evorim, the limbs that contain the koiches, are surely also not created by the ratzon. This is the way it is in the nefesh. The nefesh was created milmayla as a full presence. As a nefesh, it has all the koiches makifim and koiches pnimim.
Please hold while we transfer you to a customer service representative.
Okay. Because the nefesh was created by the divine design what the nefesh should be, and thus it has a full complement of all the koiches that the nefesh has to have. Ma she'ein kein l'maylo, and this is different. L'maylo, iker ha'yizhavus hu min haratzon. There, everything is under the control of the ratzon, and the principle is havos is not. There is not an existence of world independently of the ratzon. The matter the his havos of the world is min haratzon, comes from the ratzon.
Okay, what Lamaila, his harvest from the world is from ratzon.
Yeah.
His house is
Creation.
Creation. Ubishorshoy, okay, you'll be getting into a different arena. Ubishorshoy, at the root state, Hu bechinas harotzon ho elyon. It is the supreme ratzon, שבאויר אינסוף שלפני הצמצום. The ratzon העליון, the supreme ratzon that is in the oir insov, שלפני הצמצום, that is before the tzimtzum. It is something with it in עצם הליכוז. מה שאולו ברצונו יזבורך, the fact that there was a ratzon by Hashem, להציל בליברוי, to emanate and to create. There is nothing in godliness that compels that you should create a world. In the nefesh there is a complementary aspect of the nefesh that it should be active. It should have a ratzon, it should have other koiches. L'maylo, there is nothing compelling that there should be creation of world.
That distinction again. L'mayla, there's nothing compelling that by nefesh.
The nefesh has already been created
yeah.
to be fully functional, and it should have all the koiches.
Which is as if to say it is compelled, or there is a drive to be.
That's right. Even though they go through the ratzon, yes, basically it is compelled to emanate and to reveal the koiches. L'maylo, however, it is the ratzon elyon that creates the world. There is nothing, l'maylo, that compels that the Rebbe should create a world. And he said all the way up to before the tzimtzum, there was already a ratzon l'hatzil. It was a volitional thing, a decision by the Meibashin himself, before anything, that they should emanate and they should create. Thus, the Horotzin who, this is the line that we're beginning, Horotzin who, the Horotzin, the will, the divine will, before the Tzimtzum, Hu Iker Hasibo, that is the principal cause, Leizhabos Ho'ilomis, for the creation of the world, Shenizhabo Le'achar Tzimtzum, that came to be after the Tzimtzum. Because on the onset and before the tzimtzum, in the essence of godliness itself, there was a ratzon that there should be world. This ratzon is what compels later on that there should be a gili of world. There is
started the shir by saying ratzon gives the impetus to the koichos, to the functional koichos, and to the koichos of the nefesh.
The ratzon
gives impetus to the functional koichos and to the koichos of the nefesh, right?
Yeah.
But this impetus, due to the different, we define the different nature of the koichos, the impetus is not the same. Is there a different...
The impetus is that every koich should do what he has to do.
Okay. Whether it's nefesh or functional.
Whether it's functioning or... But that's all from the ratzon, the functional aspect. The creation of the koiches is is initially created along with the nefesh itself.
Before the tzimtzum.
Wait a second, talking about nefesh or the world.
Nefesh.
Nefesh has nothing to do with tzimtzum.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there's a short parenthesis over here, where the Rebbe does not conclusively explain what he wants to explain, but there's no reason to skip it, just to be prepared for eventuality. Uliyil, Impetus Azayin, back Impetus Azayin, Nisboyer, it was explained, the Horotzin Laha'atzil, that the Horotzin of the original Horotzin Laha'atzil, to emanate and to create, Hu Bichlal Bechinas Memalekah, is in the category. At that stage, it is actually included in the general aspect of Memalekolam. Memalekolam is that which feels worth. Well, this is part of the recognition of world rather than the service. This will still be explained later. But what he says here is that any thought, any identity with world has to do with Malach initially. Okay, let's after the point. And similarly, his havus bepeil. His havus bepeil. Okay, the parenthesis will cause us a little bit of a confusion. Let's put it aside for the time. Let's go back to the beginning. Before the parenthesis, what we said was that the creation is due to the ratzon lahatze believer. The ratzon l'maylo, this is what caused the creation of the world. V'chein, and similarly, ha'is havos bepoyel. The creation, bepoyel, in actual fact, now was the conclusion, the execution of the creation. Hagam shezehu al dehoe penimi. Okay, here we have a little bit of a challenging moment. Although that the practical creation is al dehoe penimi, it is by oipenimi, because the creation was not created by the way, automatically. The Masoibe creates automatically, but something to create a factual being with all the details of it has to be oipenimi, an internalized oir. So even though this is the creation, Bepeil is through oipenimi, that's clear, right? We understand that the principle behind this. When you say how is Bepeil is oipenimi, means to say that nothing in the creation came to be without intent. Therefore, there is oipenimi. There is an internalizable oir, identity of what is being created.
The intent is even in the mark of the roots, no?
What?
The intent is even in the roots, which is a mark.
I can hear.
The intent is also in the makif, the ratzon, no?
It comes from the ratzon, that's what we said. But the Ishabu bepoil, the actual creation is epnimi. Anything that was created has its own identity, what's being created. It didn't come inadvertently. So that's what we're saying now. Let's follow the words and not skip any. Yizhavas bepeil, the Yizhavas in actual fact, hagam. Although, shezehu al dehoe penimi, even though that it comes to be through the oipenimi, the oil that is refined individually and internalizable into the creation. Dihi v'garmei yichad livrei b'hem. And we say, the quote, Dihi v'garmei yichad, he, v'garmei, and the kelim, chad are one, livrei b'hem, to be able to create. The kelim are also capable to have a koich halaki to create. But it is Ihu, they said he, the oil, and the Garmaya and the Kelim. Shamhavehu ha'oir. When the actual power to create is from the oil Laki. Shezehu Bechinas Ihu, which is the Ihu aspect. Ihu means he himself. Shemisyached Garmei, the Ihu who imbues himself and is united with Garmei, with the Kelim. So ultimately, the kelim that cause the creation. Still, so even though the pale mama's creation is through the kelim, still who what is the force that enables the kelim to create? Just as we say the arousal is from ratzon, the creation of Milo is from the ratzon. Oil hasev dafke is from the supreme oil that is sev, that is makif, that is above slapshus. Ukmesha Kosmo, as the pasuk says, everything that Hashem wants, also that is what He made. The asiyas means habas lomis, which is stating that the making, the creation of the world, the power to create and make the world is from the aspect of chayfetz v'rotzon. It is the ratzon eliki that gives the koyach to create. The mahoi pnimi, because the oil pnimi, the oil that is mislabish, becomes part of the oilam. Be'etzem, in essence, iefshe liyez yisavos oilams. From the oil pnimi in itself cannot be creation of world. We have to stop for a moment and discuss the principle of creation. His havos oilams. But this will understand what follows. His havos, coming to be, by definition, means that something that was not there before, and now it came into being. Let's take it back into the human arena. You have seichel, and you go and you explain your seichel. You explain and you expose the seichel, and we said that this exposition of seichel is actually initiated by ratzon, which is not the seichel at all. Seichel is that which goes through your mind and you understand. But this is not compelling that you should go and express it. What compels that you should express it and make a go of it and make a statement with it, and that this should take hold and should become a reality? This is your ratzon. Which means that the actual creation of something new let's take it and totally on a human level. You have your thoughts. Then you decide you're going to write them down. What's the point of writing down? The fact that you have these thoughts doesn't compel you to write them down. What compels you to write them down? A completely different perspective. It's not due to the fact that you understand this, you're compelled to write it down. You want to actualize this which you understand, it should become a metzius in the world. What compels you to make it a metzius in the world? This is something much greater than the fact than your understanding itself. This is a certain sense of reality that you have in your own by yourself. This is what's called the ratzon. You want it to be real. You want it to have a place. The fact that you understand it is in the seichel. This that you're going to write it down and make it an entity. This is from a different level. This is from a higher level.
This actualization is driven by ratzon. And about ratzon we say it's not understandable.
To me?
It cannot be understood. It's not understandable.
And so above ratzon?
Ratzon itself.
Ratzon itself, no. No, ratzon, this is a koyach makifi.
So, in a different. Ultimately, we're all motivated and are acting based on a will that cannot be articulated and is not understood.
That's right. I mean, we know what we want, but it's higher than understanding.
We know what we want, or ultimately not really?
No, we knowing and understanding and relating to is two different things. We don't know how come we have this impetus to go and create an entity. But we have this impetus because we have this ratzon that relates to something greater than our functioning level.
Right. And it guides us towards actualization, which is kind of making something actual in the world. It's like outside of oneself. Almost.
That's right. That's right.
An example of thinking and writing.
That's right. Thinking and writing and speaking it out and all that.
Yeah.
That's right.
And ultimately, this is a kind of self-expression, which is nefesh expression, which is God's expression.
It is not self-expression. It is God's expression. It's a higher than the self-expression.
Fine, but on the local level, it might feel like self-expression, or people call it that. He's thinking, now he's expressing himself.
Yeah, but it's not.
No, it's not.
Because it's a super koich. It's called a ratzon.
Yeah. So, okay, and then the regular, what people call self, is kind of besides the point here.
Right. Like we said many times, what the Gemara says, Adam shein lebayis einay Adam. He's a full-fledged human being, very smart and wise, full of knowledge. But if he doesn't have a house, a place in the world, which gives him a place in the world, not his own place, he's not an Adam. Which means the Adam element is greater than his seichel. It's a ratzon. Let's take it a step further, as we did many times. Where is this ratzon come from? It is from the divine command that God gave the human being a place in the world. If a human being orients himself and knows exactly, fully, what he stands for, he goes back to his Creator. what did you create, make me? Which is higher than his own experience. Like we said many times, you can sleep in a hotel and be very comfortable, but in your own home, it's a completely different experience. Because there is the element of a ratzon, which was given to the person by his creator, which is not part of his own experience. That the creator said he should be a full-fledged entity, by my definition. And this is what impels him to build. And what impels all the koiches to function. This is what we're saying, that the Peil Mamash, it is from Chayfa to Ratzon. And even Lamaila also, the Oy Pnimi itself is not it's not the creation. It is Ihu, it is the Elokus itself that creates the world. He said, I don't know if you, I'll underline that begins with the word ha'oir. The creation is from the oir. But the reason that the oir has the koyach to create is because in the oir there is something which is called etzem, higher than the oir. Shezehu bechinas ihu shemishyachadim gameyu. This is ihu. This is he himself. This is higher than the oir. The etzem that is mishyachadim gameyu. Mikom mokoim yet still hu bekoyach hu yishem hasim v'davke. That ultimately the creation comes because of the koyach ho'irin soyu hasoybev. Even though it goes through oy pnimi, but the actual creation is from oy hasoybev. The mehoy pnimi be'etzem, because a pnimi, if it were the pnimi itself, he absolutely is havas oilamus. From oy pnimi, the oil that is actually mislabish, is internalized in the keli. From that cannot come the from his habus of creating a new thing, a novel thing. Why? Sharei ho'oy pnimi, since that the oy pnimi hu shemei begili v'pchinis pnimis. Oy pnimi is that which functions and reveals itself b'pnimius in the pnimius in internalized manner. Memela. Therefore, if it is an internalized manner, memela. Therefore, harei ha'is habu shemizeh. Therefore, the creation that comes from that behechrach sheyeh b'pchinas erech. It must be b'pchinas erech as being proximity to the other that he creates. Since it is